Hey guys, using some 320 on the bonnet, just to get some of the superficial little bodywork bits out. Kids put a little filling on here and there, so just quick DAing down with 320. You can also use 240, right, depending on how much primer you're actually putting on. But yeah, he's gone over it. There's just few little bits and bobs left, so that's all there is basically. Hey guys, welcome back again. We have put these actually on. Well, they're not actually seamed up yet. Obviously, I'm going to show you how to actually do these. But what I've done is I've masking taped around the vent and around the bonnet. Put a few screws in there just to hold it in place. Same with the other side. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a bit of polyurethane sealer on there today, right? So it actually goes all well and bonded, and we've actually done most of the bodywork on the car as well, right? The bonnet has been all prepped up as well, and today basically we're just going to bond them back on again. Sorry for the late video, just got busy, carried away with a lot of other stuff at the moment, got a lot on, and hopefully we get these bonded up today. So let's get started. This is the actual sealer I'm using at the moment. It's polyurethane sealer. It works well on actual fiberglass. You can use this. You can also use Tiger Seal, which normally works well as well, and they both do the same job basically. Tiger Seal, a lot of people mostly use that on screens. So what we're going to do is, I've obviously just saved a bit of time on the video, popped a few holes in there so you can see exactly what's being done. Let's just put these in order. Let's open these up. You can use a normal screwdriver or you can use one of these power packs. It's the same thing. Alright, so first of all I'm going to take them both off. Put a little bit of extra one on this as well. Okay, so as you can see underneath, that's what it is. That's what's been done basically on them. And what we're going to do is we're going to use a bit of panel wipe. It's a degreaser that you would normally use just to clean up basically all the dust and everything. You can actually use a bit of spirits and stuff like that as well. It does the same jobs. Once it's nicely cleaned up, it's got no residues of anything basically, especially when you've been drilling as well. You get a lot of this dust piled up, right, and a lot of bits of metal. Alright, so once that's done, I've just made it easier, so once you got the sealer on, you don't really want the job going too messy. So you'd rather spend a little more time doing this than actually cleaning up afterwards. Shouldn't be enough on that. Enough extra in there. Okay, let's find some on this one. Okay, let me put a new. I need another new tube, so.
Smack some extra on there. From both sides, pop a bit more.
Okay, that should be enough. Just watch this, guys. You know, this thing here, as you can see, it's been kicked around. Obviously, I think they must have fell down off the shelf and it's damaged the back. So in the beginning it was a right ball ache trying to pull everything out, but it looks fine now. So what we're gonna do now is smack the vents back on there. Off the full thing. Oh yeah. Yeah guys, so you just put some more sealer on the bottom. All I've done is this is not really added on a lot, just smeared it on around the edges, so when you actually seal a grip sealer, it'll catch it good basically. Alright, and then the same with both of these. Now what we're going to do is just going to put them back on the car and screw them in and just clean up the access basically. Alright, so hopefully they will bond on. Alright. As I said, you don't gotta go that crazy on the sealer with me. It's just some of these tubes just end up lying around and they end up just getting all messed up. Right, so that's why I just put as much as I can on there. It's just gonna go to waste anyway, so might as well. But as you can see, as long as it's prizing out, you know that there is enough going on there. Right, this is what I meant. This was one of the reasons why I actually put the tape on there. So once all of this is on, and imagine that smearing all the way around the bonnet. So you're gonna do the same thing with this. Bung it on there. Rise it all down nicely. Right, let it all sit in nice. And what you do is once it's bonded on properly, just clean all the excess off afterwards. So see it getting squashed out, you know, obviously the same thing's happening on the inside where that's the reason why I put a bit of sealer on this so it can catch up basically. The other good thing is, obviously, the reason why this has been put on the outside, so you roughly know where it goes, right? What we're gonna do now is we're gonna start popping some screws back in there. Alright.
Get some tissue.
Okay, so yeah, once the first two go in there, yeah, that's it. That's it. So this. Okay. Pop a couple at the front. You don't have to go too crazy on over tightening these, just put them to where you know it's sitting down properly. And there. So what we're doing now is same on the other side. Keep these prized in. Make sure you get the whole vent in there. When you're making this. One more. Okay, let's check out how much we need to do. So yeah guys, do weigh these things right and they help basically. So otherwise you'll be smearing everything all over the place. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a bit more masking tape on the edges as we got a lot of sealer there. Scrape off what I don't need. and then give it a quick tidy up. As I said, the more effort you'll put in, the less mess you'll get. I'm just sticking some 2-inch tape. And now you clean the mess up a bit. Yeah, so all we're doing now is just trying to clean up as much as we can off it. Do the same with this. If you just use the spreader according to the shape, you get a better chance of cleaning it off properly. You see a better bond as well. You'd rather have a bit more on there than having less. Then you're always in two minds basically. Did I put enough on there or did I not? Right, so as I said, all of this little thing, the mess can be cleaned up. It's a lousy few quid for a tube, as I said, if you leave it in there, it'll go off anyway. So the whole point is just getting it back, basically back neatened up a bit again. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to check hopefully the height on this, see if it's all properly done, if I need to squeeze it in a bit more. Right, so it's even. Come on this side, Asan. As you guys can see, this line here is trying to, like that looks more or less even all across. Right, so you don't want big gaps in there and not being uneven. Same with this side, we got a little issue, so what we're going to do is I'm just going to put a clamp on this side. If I can get it in there, it should normally go in there. Yeah, there you go. I think that's better there. Doesn't need to be too much, but yeah, now we're gonna clean a bit more up of the mess and then we're gonna tidy it up. There you go, that looks like most of it's off. Right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab something, just neaten this up. Okay guys, so what we're going to next step is just start taking some of this tape off. Don't be too worried if you get a little here and there. You can always wipe that off very easily. It's better than wiping a big mess off the whole car. Alright, so take all of this off. It's best to leave the screws on overnight. I mean, it depends all on the stuff you're putting on, what kind of curing time it has as well. I mean, this thing, the curing time is basically normally, I think, about 4 hours. Same as windscreen sealer, similar to Tiger Seal basically. Alright, I think that dries up in about 4 hours as well. Alright, so it's better to just leave it overnight, to be honest with you. I would do that. And then in the morning, obviously, you can always go on to the other side. Once this is cured up a bit, put a bit of polyester paste on there. It's a bonding paste basically. and obviously it's resin, so once that grips fiberglass, this thing is not going anywhere. I mean, a lot of people, what you guys can do is, if it's like normal vents or you're putting on or anything, I mean, I like doing that because I don't like things flying off and stuff like that, right? Which normally, so up to now, I've never really had a problem, but I'm just saying a lot of people might cheat a bit on the actual sealer and then realize they put less on there and it's becoming a mess, right? So, or they put less on there and it's not been bonded properly. So all you do with that is too tight. Right, yeah, so you'd rather have a little extra on there than less. So that's off the vent. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the tape off, all being well. And I'll put this very close to the vent so it actually looks like a independent vent. I wouldn't want to blend them in or anything. I think they look terrible. So that, I think that looks a bit more better than everything blobbed onto it. We do the same with this side as well. You just slowly take everything off that you put on. Alright, as I said, don't forget to wear some gloves. I'm used to a lot of this stuff, so otherwise you will get some on your hands, and maybe later on, a lot of people probably they have allergy against it. You might end up getting some itching and stuff like that. So obviously health is first. My worst bit is done now anyway, so I've just got to take this tape off. With this stuff, the good thing is you can just take your time. A lot of the time you might put some certain adhesives on which go off really quick. Right? You got a bit of a worry on that because at the end of the day, if you haven't got something bonded on properly and it goes off, all your effort is wasted. So it's best to just use something which is good for the fiberglass and it gives you a bit more time to work with. I mean, this is not my first one actually. I've done quite a few of these, so I'm pretty used to it. Yes, so there we go, almost there, just a little left. And this is probably the worst bit. Yeah, but yeah, for fiberglass, best bit is to either Tiger Seal or polyurethane adhesive, right? It works really well. Yeah, I think my son went to sleep there. He almost dropped the camera, so. So now what we've got is basically we got a little mess here, a little bit of strand here, and we need to tidy all of this up. We're not finished yet, right? If you get a close up on these edges, if you look, you're not gonna paint over that. It will show like a sore thumb. So all you do with that is you can use a bit of spirits. In my sense, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use some acetone while it's wet, and I can just go over it, and that should clean it all off. Dip a little bit of acetone and clean it. As you can see, it just comes off straight away. Right, it's not gonna smudge. It'll come off straight away. Whatever you got on there. Right, so any little places where you think you might have gone over, or just give it a quick wipe. Right, do all the outer bits first. So now we got something which is on the inside, which is this. That's cleaned off. So you got most of that sorted out. Now I'm gonna go around the edges very firmly. Right, so as you can see, it cleans up straight away. Do the same thing with this edge. Just go over it to where it just sits in itself. Right, so if we clean it off, that's all we're doing basically. Just rubbing on the top edge so there's no sharpness of the sealer sticking out or anything. It just sits in there nicely. Right. Look at that, that's good. So do the same thing with this mess here. Right, all you're doing is just going over it. Part which is at the bottom is gonna get nicely. I mean, you don't have to dig into it, but just getting the shapes right and everything. Okay. I mean, you probably put a smear of this stuff on there. It's pretty good the way it works, and you can angle this up nicely. I mean, that is ready to paint. Alright, so same thing with the edges. You kind of, any sharp edges, it rounds them off. See, it just settles down really nice on the actual bonnet, right? So, and there's no ifs or buts sticking out on it. Yeah, that looks pretty neat. I said, if you want to go more into it, you don't want it showing you as well, just use the fingertip of your nail. That's what you do. Basically, you'll curve it out and put a bit more acetone on there.
And wipe it back off again. There you go. That might look more better. So do the same with the front. Yeah, that looks really tidy. We've done the same thing here. Just a bit extra there. If you go down, you see that line, see that break. Right, so you just wipe the excess off. Just use your fingernail on it. Well, your tissue with the fingernail. And just wipe the excess off. A lot of this is still a lot wet, so and also mentioned these both sealers are paintable.
Nice and neat. I do the same thing with the other side.
Rub it all down. As I said, I'm using a bit of acetone. You can use some normal, any spirits really. They work well on sealer basically, so. Yeah, so really, if you got a little patience, right, you can get it done nicely. Right, so some people probably think it's a pain in the ass to just clean all this mess up, but come on guys, without all hard work, you can't appreciate victory. There we go, that's all done as well. So guys, this is more or less done now. Just going through some bits and bobs, whatever I can see. You can, as I said, I mean, a lot of people, you can actually use the same sealer underneath to bond it on. You don't really gotta go for paste and stuff like that. But as I said, I've got the stuff here, I use it all the time, so I might as well, you know, not cheat my way out. I mean, it'll do the same job that way as well, but as I said, there's not really much of a difference. The thing is, with the resin, once that goes onto fiberglass, you know, you gotta guarantee that it's not gonna, even long-term wise, right, it'll last, right? It's not gonna be a thing where, you know, it's gonna come off or something like that. You won't have that problem, right? With the, I mean, a lot of people blend stuff like this in. I really personally think that's too much hard work as well, and the problem is now this stuff is gone on there. It's nice and flexible basically, because the adhesive gives that little flex to where, you know, it's not going to come back off afterwards, right? And not going to crack. If you got filler on there and stuff like that, you got a lot of chances of it messing up, right, and cracking off. So that is more of a downfall on it. Every time you bang a bonnet down, you're probably thinking, hold on, you know, is this, shall I just slam it down, or am I having problems? Am I gonna have any problems with the bonnet cracking? So rather than not thinking about that, you do what you like with this. You smack it down, you put a hammer in it. I don't think they're gonna be coming off after all of this. That's done more or less nicely. I've got a bit of sealer here. I don't want to mess about with it. I'm just going to knife it off where it's gone into the holes, and run a little drill back in it so I can put a little filling in there and finish that off. As for the vents are installed more or less. Just got to take these out tomorrow, do some filler work on it. Just pop a little bit of a fiberglass or resin in the holes, and it's back done basically. And as you can see, the bottom is gonna get a little planished once that's bonded. All right, well, I mean, the gap's not much anyway, right? But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna paste these up, all right, so it looks all good basically. Same with that side as well. All right, so yeah, that's it for the day now. The rest we can just leave it up to tomorrow. But that's your vent slides. That looks good. Well, I think it looks good. Alright, so it's all this is now popping this out, a bit of little filler work in places, and I'm gonna basically put some put it into primer, and the rest of the car with it as well, right? So didn't really want to do little bits and bobs separately. It's not really good. But once this stuff does dry up, it's a ball ache to come off. You're not gonna get it off. Whether it's well, most kind of adhesives, right, don't just come off like that basically. But these are tough adhesives basically. PU adhesive and the actual Tiger Seal. Tiger Seal obviously is commonly used. Everybody knows, people use it on windscreens and stuff like that. But to do the job properly, obviously it's gonna take you a little time, right? I mean, when I say a little time, it might be about an hour, right? If you're doing something like that, I mean, people take days trying to get stuff right. But if it's something's gonna cost you about an hour and you know you can get it right, you can't really go wrong with that. Alright, so that's it. Yeah guys, so what I'm gonna do is hopefully I'm gonna come tomorrow, pop these screws out and put a bit of filling in there, right? I'll video it all, and I'm gonna put the resin paste underneath it, and then I'll show you when it's ready to get primed basically. And as I said, I mean, in these videos we're putting obviously more handcrafting in there as well, and the whole car's kit gonna be in clips basically, right? So you'll probably get like part 1, part 2, part 3, but we're gonna go through the whole thing. That basically just doesn't mean the bonnet and the vents, the grille, right, the wings, the actual rear diffuser, the front, bottom, lower part of the bumper, the Mugen part, side extensions,
right? So, and we probably just take you through the process of painting it as well, right? And once the video is complete, as I said, a lot of people seeing the last one, we finished it off like in 20 minutes clips, but a lot of people don't get to see a lot of handcrafting. So in this one, it's more about handcrafting and how it's actually done as well. So just bear with us, and hopefully I'll see you in the next clip.